Kami po
We
ay
are very happy
tuwang-tuwa.
this project came.
Dumating ang project na ito.
Like what I said,
Kaya po nang sabi ko,
it has helped us a lot.
ibigay na tulong.
That's why we can say that our place has been fortunate.
Naging successful. Parang kailan lang nung
Seems like
inauguration
yesterday
ng mga taga-DNR,
when we were organized by DENR. Our place wasn't like this. Look at our road now. Before, only carabaos could use this road. But cars can pass through this way now, up to Kakilingan.
Valentin Descalzo, Giovanni Hasmin, Dupino Mento, Carlito Baluang. Theirs is a story that says there is no limit to people impassioned to do the best they could for their own welfare and that of the community where lies their heart and soul. All they have to do is allow their nurturing nature trigger into collective action, just as they did with the coming of the community-based forestry management into their forest land. The hilly and mountainous Bayumbong, capital town of Nueva Vizcaya province, 276 kilometers northeast of Manila. From a distance, Bayumbong, which to the locals means a confluence of a mighty river, looks no different from other great mountain ridges. But a closer look reveals a mountain community that has suffered from a state of near devastation. Thanks in large measure to the likes of Val and his colleagues in the People's Organization, a once degraded forest has now turned into an increasingly towering, lush crown of fresh green canopies. While their forest has yet to regain fully its crowning glory, that was once a dense foliage with the usual universe of flora and fauna, what stands monumental is a community's resolve to bring their forest back to life. A forest that once looked dark and desolate is now firmly in a protective embrace of a vigilant community. CBFM's entry into the community was, in the beginning, fraught with skepticism, but a healthy one nonetheless. Val, the fourth president of the Federation of People's Organization, admits there was, at the start, some members' resistance to DENR, simply because they thought CBFM would deprive them of their livelihood then.
People then thought that whatever land DENR allowed us to use, the government would take back from us. But now, gradually, people are learning to discard this notion, based primarily on the success of the CBFM model. The truth was, actually, we were the ones destroying the forest then.
Like trekking a mountain peak, the community's determination to reach the project's significant point had its rough and tough first step. But good sense prevailed. In the case of CBFM involvement, being awarded with stewardship certificates.
With CBFM, you have individual certificates of stewardship, and you don't have to hesitate working on the land because we know that we're the ones who are benefiting from the land we're tilling.
pagbibigay po sa amin ng
Awarding of the certificate of stewardship
parang
proves that this place we are now appears like it is truly ours,
lalagyan ay
that we are actually the ones tasked to manage.
talagang magmamanage.
It helped that the Forest Management Bureau of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources made it easy for them to sink their teeth into the project, which forms part of the department's major thrust, the promotion of sustainable development and conservation of the country's natural resources, which by anybody's reckoning means improving their lot as a forest community dependent on the use of their resources. CBFM has come a long way then, from the pioneering period of people-oriented forestry program in the 70s to its integration in the 80s. And in 1995, when the government issued Executive Order 263, primarily envisioned at sustaining forest land resources development that spans the great length of CBFM in Barangays Buenavista and Calungkong, where 3,000 hectares were established beginning 1999 and are now considered best practices site among the international tropical timber organization supported CBFM projects.
We have awarded best CBFM project here in Nueva Vizcaya.
Ito CBFM project, we have some best practices.
Soft broom made of sun-dried matured tiger grass bounded by the use of rattan strips has given Carlito a shot at livelihood opportunity besides his main preoccupation, farming. He learned the technology from his father since he was 10 years old. He has half a hectare of tiger grass plantation that provides him monthly harvests of 30 bundles of tiger grass, producing about 200 pieces of soft brooms. Carlito makes 6 to 7 pieces of brooms a day, earning for him an average of 5,000 pesos a month. He sells his products through orders, if not direct to the market.
Bali, natulungan ko ng CBFM.
CBFM has helped us
Pinagtanayman namin.
because the lot planted with tiger grass came from my tenurial rights.
Tenurals namin.
Over 1.5 million hectares of public lands all over the country have since been allotted to CBFM, benefiting around 1,800 people's organizations nationwide. In tandem with beneficiary communities represented by these POs, DENR implements this people-oriented National Forest Management Strategy, also in partnership with local government units, civil society, the private sector, the academe, other governmental agencies, donor agencies, and other support institutions.
Nung dumating ang CBFM,
When CBFM came to us, management of the forest has improved.
ginawa silang
They instituted policies for implementation. For example, violators were apprehended.
Forging partnerships likewise involves the academe.
Been ITT of the CBFM, and I think it's a good practice actually. If you see the forest cover before the project, it's quite grassland and shrubland, but nowadays you can see forest has gone back, grow back, especially along the stream.
We are very lucky in the Nueva Vizcaya for having a very successful community-based ITTO project. As an academic, part of the academic community, we are very happy for having the ITTO because some of our graduates were also deployed during the project implementation, and they were asked to raise seedlings and other nursery practices. And the contribution of this project is not only for the POs themselves, because I noticed that The success of the project lies on the very active participation of the people's organization.
CBFM good practices are best told by the CBFM stewards. Their laudable practices help focus CBFM's goal at meeting food and wood needs of CBFM families. Their more than creditable share in such major concerns as water, livelihood, biodiversity, health, ecotourism, and climate change showcases the three pillars of CBFM: social, economic, and environmental objectives of sustainable development. Giovanni Hasmin's good practices in forest management go beyond his active leadership of the Federation. His passion, very intelligent and experienced approach to reforestation remain a piercing sunbeam cutting through the forest.
Ngayon ay in-encourage natin.
Now we have encouraged our neighboring barangay. We assisted them to help improve their place through the government's National Greening Program.
Vani and friends' feel of the project is beyond measure as they reminisce their mountain of the past, denuded.
Talagang wala pong mga...
Before, there were only a few trees planted in the area. Now, when you happen to visit the place, you will see the different kinds of birds. They are wild chickens. I suppose sprouting some tree species could have been due to seeds dispersed by those birds.
Now that they have learned about agroforestry, multi-story cropping, they do not practice cutting trees anymore, inasmuch as they have already been earning, for example, from their coffee harvests, root crops. These help them a lot, consequently improving their livelihood. I have likewise shared my experience from my trainings with my colleagues. We also mix rattan in our reforestation activities.
Mayatin medyo pumigpigsat itong karamay sa akin masata. Maatipade di apo yung ako. Maahan nga mapupuon na dati mulam yung nga litok.
In most of these countries, CBFM is more known as social forestry. Val and Judy have these words on the experience they gained during their recent visit to Indonesia. The general sentiment of the participants at the end of the Indonesian training was to ask their respective governments to formulate policies protecting the rights of the forest community, as well as intensify livelihood and community enterprises. They consider it a success when the community is aware of the importance of such programs like CBFM and social forestry. Reporting to the Forest Management Bureau after their Indonesian exposure, Val and Judy have brought with them specific projects in mind that the community could involve in. Judy's thinking, for instance, is on Gemelina wood processing technology, as well as developing a water network system, while Val is on planting coffee and studying coffee technology. Benefits from CBFM flow beyond, down the river below, then dry, but now with enriched water source from way up the mountain, now teems with aquatic richness where the community and enterprising individuals fish for food and some other subsistence livelihood. CBFM introducing a hitherto unknown PO community to the climate change phenomenon, stirring them up to a consciousness forest importance in carbon emission.
Bawasan.
Minimize degrading the forests, our mother nature, protect the ozone layer, and mitigate climate change.
Of equal significance, the CBFM thrusts of advocating the community's awareness, their sense of ownership of the forest, and owning up the sole responsibility of protecting, managing their forest and the flora and fauna that thrive there. For indeed, as the Filipino poet laureate Amado Hernandez achingly wrote in Filipino,
Alinman di yayaman kundi pagyayamanin.
none so thrives without humans' nurturing hands.
CBFM stewards must not rest on their success, for indeed, their success is transitory. Future generations must benefit from CBFM's continuing story of man's quest for more creative and better use of their forests. From wood to food, from individual to family to community. This is community-based forest management.